The media that downplayed and censored the whole Hunter Biden story is now trying to downplay your release. Obviously, because they are under fire as well, right? Because they have been exposed by this release. What do you want to say to them? What do you want to say to the media that is trying to turn this into a nothing burger?
Well, they're trying to turn it into a nothing burger because they were complicit in deceiving the American public. And so rather than admit that they lied to the public, they're trying to pretend that this is a nothing burger, obviously. To anyone looking at it, that's clearly what happened. So, yeah, I mean, shame on them.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then the other important thing here is that you are basically exposing collusion between a political party and in one file that was released, it was even called the Biden team contacting Twitter. I mean, that is election interference, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, clearly, if Twitter is doing one team's bidding before an election, shutting down dissenting voices on a pivotal election, that is the very definition of election interference. I mean, what the hell else would you? Of course, it's like, yes, frankly, Twitter was acting like an arm of the Democratic National Committee. It was absurd.
Well, and that's fantastic that you're releasing that, but isn't Twitter just the tip of the iceberg? Can't we admit now that this would have happened at all big tech companies that are, being used to stifle free speech and censor people and try to, destroy stories that are dangerous to their political goals? Yeah.
No, I mean, the level of collusion is insane. Like Twitter is the one company that is no longer colluding and is no longer just going with the sort of NPC groupthink. So I don't know. I should probably increase my security or something.
Absolutely. I mean, this is why I hate you so much.
What I find most interesting.
Play something here. Just a second. That would have been my next question, Elon. How worried are you personally? I mean, you're putting a lot on the line, right? You have all these businesses going. You are out there fighting the good fight for free speech. But there's also certainly a concern on your mind about what the response to this is going to be. Do you feel threatened? Do you feel worried? Like, how do you feel personally about this?
Yeah, and I'll add on to a question I asked as well, Elon. Like, what type of pressure have you faced so far?
Maybe I should be more worried than I am, but I don't know. I think generally, if you do right by the people, then you have the people on your side.
Elon, if you want, you can come to Sweden.
Oh, you dropped out, Thierry. Can you hear me first, Elon, before I give the mic back to Kim?
I lost the signal there.
Yeah, oh good. Yeah, he dropped out. Can you hear me or not? Just so I know, if you can't hear me, I'll give the mic back to Kim. No, you can't hear me. Kim, you take the mic.
I was going to ask him what he thought, really quick, of Senator Warren's response that one person, him, should not have control over the narrative.
Elon, I was saying, you can come to Switzerland by...
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not one person has control of the narrative, because there's the entire mainstream media establishment who all talk like groupthink NPCs. There's Facebook, there's Google, there's TikTok. No, the actual problem is there's one person who isn't towing the line. That's the real problem.
Thank you. That's the exact response that we needed.
That's you, yeah. I mean, that's
so. Ian, can you ask him a quick question as well? Because I don't think you can hear me.
As soon as one person doesn't toe the line, now everyone else is looking like,
Well, now we're allowed to, Elon, and that's the issue. Is before we were at risk of being suspended or deplatformed.
You're allowing. I mean, you're showing people that it's possible to.
I mean, this is like like competition does keep companies honest, or should, it is a force for keeping companies honest. So if there's a competition for the truth, and Twitter wins the competition for the truth, then it will win over the readership and the attention of the public, and everyone else will be forced to tell the truth too.
Do you think that you run the risk of like the EU Commission or any of these other big political bodies trying to take you down when you're doing this?
Yes. I do not think this is a risk-free endeavor. But I also think that, like, as long as there's the support of the people, then you have to say, like any organization, at least in the U.S., that it is going to go against the will of the people, I think will be in big trouble themselves.
You know, Elon, you're doing this at such an important time in history because I think people can sense that the censorship is becoming more, that the media is spilling more and more propaganda, that we are heading into a future acceptable anymore. And for you, with your audience, to go out there and put this transparency out there, I think a lot of people appreciate that this is a fight that you are taking center stage, in order to fix some of these issues.
Yeah. No, I mean, frankly, the risk of something bad happening to me, of even literally being shot, is quite significant. I'm definitely not going to be, doing any open air car parades. Let me put it that way. But it's also it's not that hard to kill me if somebody wanted to. So hopefully they don't. And if fate smiles upon the situation with me and does not, that does not happen. I'm taking reasonable precautions, I guess, but there's definitely some risk here. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think we'll just want to have a future where, we're not oppressed, or our speech is not suppressed, and we can say what we want to say without fear of reprisals. As long as you're not like really causing harm to somebody else, then you should be able to say what you want. And that's quite a rare thing, I think as people just take that for granted sometimes, but really throughout history, free speech has been highly unusual, not common. And so we have to fight very hard to keep that, because it's such a rare thing. And it's by no means something that is default. It's a controlled speech is the default, not free speech. It does seem incredibly ironic that so many reporters in the media and prominent politicians are calling for restraints on free speech. This is crazy. It feels like we're in bizarro world here.
Do you think that comes from the way that journalism is taught now in today's schools, in what we would call postmodern journalism, or where do you think that's really coming from?
I mean, I haven't been to journalism school, but it does seem as though that the elite educational institutions have been somewhat infected with an anti-free speech mind virus, which is sort of a subset of the woke mind virus. How much actual intellectual freedom and how much actual intellectual freedom is there at elite educational institutions, where you don't get completely shunned unless you abide by what everyone else thinks, and then what everyone else thinks is you're told what to think, not asked to. You're sort of, you must think this. It's not like you have freedom to think as and talk as you wish.
What's the solution for this? I mean, like, obviously this is...
So somehow we have to, I think, approach the woke mind virus and have truth be what matters more than anything. I mean, I think it's funny that, Harvard's motto and the Harvard Standard, it's veritas, truth. and the founders of Harvard were right to have that on their shield, the shield of truth. But is Harvard the shield of truth today?